Hello and welcome to Financial Fridays with Dawn. So since Janna was so popular, I brought her back, and today we're going to be talking about congratulations, you just had your baby. And even before that, your whole world, especially if it's your first baby, you're like, oh my God, you're so excited. And you're like, how am I going to pay for all this? There's diapers, formula, got to pick out cribs, daycare. Am I going to work? Am I going to be a stay-at-home mom? How am I going to do everything? So what I recommend is you come meet with me first. We're going to sit there, go over your budgeting, see how we can make room for these new expenses. And as I know, kids, my parents used to always say, if we didn't have you kids, we'd be rich. So they're pretty expensive. I heard, what was it, like $250,000 to raise a kid?
Yeah, something like that.
But wait, that sounds kind of cheap.
College,
yeah, that doesn't include college. Huh? But this is what I've heard and what people say. So and then there's college planning. And now maybe you're the breadwinner. So you have to think about, oh my gosh, my wife just had the baby. She's off from work. What if I get sick and I can't work? What's going to replace my income? So income replacement is a huge factor now. Not to mention life insurance, because how are you going to replace that income? God forbid you're not around. It's not just your wife now. It's 3 people that you have to provide for. Well, you won't be there, so you don't really have to provide for yourself. But you got 2 people. So there's many different financial aspects, and I could sit down with you and we could go over there and prepare for that, because no one really teaches you about how to prepare financially for a baby. All you hear about is college planning, but okay, before we get to college, how are we going to manage everything day to day? So let me introduce Janna again, and she could talk about why estate planning is especially important at this time.
Right. So when you're expecting or shortly thereafter, you actually have the new baby, it's an important time to come talk to an estate planning attorney to get your estate planning documents done if you have not already done them. If you already have done them, then it's also an important time to come back and review all of those documents. It's so imperative at the time that you have a child, because the will is really where we make the elections for guardianship, and possibly might include some kind of minor trust provision, which you elect who would be in charge of your child's money if they were to inherit prior to the age of 18. So that would likely mean that you and your spouse pass away at the same time or shortly thereafter one another. These are really tough decisions. These are tough things I sit down with my clients to discuss. I can tell you sometimes it takes more than one meeting of discussing who the guardian would be, who would be the one in charge of the money. But all these things, once again, like Dawn said, no one talks to you about or tells you how to make those decisions. And yet, if something were to happen, you would not want your family arguing over who's the guardian of the child. You would want to have made that decision ahead of time.
And let me interject something here too. When you're doing life insurance, you don't want to leave the beneficiary to the minor child, because then what they're going to have to do is show receipts for everything. And it's going to be a huge hassle. So again, that's why I always say, go talk to your attorney. We need to have that in there. Because that's very important. You don't want to have to keep dealing with all that. You want to have the custodian in charge to use the money how they see fit without having to document every little thing and go to the insurance company. This is why I need it. I got to buy him sneakers. It's just going to be a pain, and she can relieve all that for you.
Right. So by setting up a meeting with me ahead of time, drafting the appropriate documents, whether that's a will with maybe some kind of testamentary trust inside of it, or if you are comfortable moving forward with a revocable trust from the get-go, where you are completely in control of when and how the assets would be distributed to your child, even if you are no longer around. It provides a lot of comfort for my clients to know that they've already made those decisions and that their wishes will be upheld, even if they're not around to, make sure that the child is taken care of.
And here's also another reason too why you want to talk to an estate planning attorney, particularly for the grandparents, because they love to give their children money. I just ran into a client today, and they had the grandparent, they're well off, they gave them stocks, so now the family can't qualify for financial aid. Now, they could have bypassed that by doing a certain type of trust, paying it directly to the institution, but now those grandparents, being well-meaning, they basically kind of, I don't want to understand what's the word, like kind of made it harder now, because now the kids aren't going to get financial aid because they have assets in their name. So another reason too.
Right. Anytime that family members want to be generous, you want to make sure that you discuss with a financial advisor and an attorney how best to title those assets so as not to prevent the child from qualifying for things such as financial aid that could really be important down the road. And obviously grandparents have best intentions, but there's tax and there's other ramifications that need to be thought about and talked about prior to just titling assets to children.
Not only for like just the kids, like the grandparents themselves, there could be some taxes, and the actual parents, because now they're going to have to sometimes sacrifice saving for retirement now if they don't do proper planning. So that's another reason. And then here's another reason too. Also, God forbid you're born with a child who has special needs. You want to make sure that's definitely important to have a special needs trust set up, because if you leave a child too much money, it's going to disqualify them for their state benefits, and we don't want that to happen.
Right, and same thing to happen as discussed with generous family members. If you have a special needs trust in place, then the generous family members can leave to the trust, and there's provision so that the child will always be able to qualify for state funds if they are able to. Sometimes things get complicated when family members wanting to be generous, wanting to help out a family member that they know might be in need, might be disabled. Leaving a gift directly to that person can completely ruin any kind of financial planning set up for that child so that they would be able to qualify for whatever state funds that they should be able to. So definitely important to talk about through those things with your financial advisor and with your attorney.
Exactly. So as soon as you find out you're pregnant, congratulations, give Dawn and Janna a call. And Janna, where can they reach you?
Right, my phone number is 610-724-2811. And my email is Janna, Janna, at Pelletier, PELLETIERLAW.com.
And you could always reach me at dsfinancialstrategies.com or call me at 215-660-0288. And thank you again, Janna, for being here. I'd love to have you back again. And to everyone else, have a great day.